Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon you all. Welcome back. Welcome back to this book reading series, more specifically on the book Thinkers of the East by Idries Shah. And for today, we are going to be reflecting on the chapter Kadudar and the Pilgrimage. This chapter is basically about the inner dimensions of the things that we do, our worship, our actions, and so on. We are often very concerned with the externals. But here is a story that reminds us of the importance of the inner dimension with regards to everything that we do as a Muslim. So I will now pass you the avatar to do the reading, and I'll be back to give my short reflection on what this chapter is all about, inshallah. So let's go to the avatar.
Kadudar and the Pilgrimage. A certain calendar on his travels fell in with the sage Kadudar, and asked him the question which had been puzzling him for many years. Why do you forbid your followers to make the pilgrimage? How can man forbid what has been commanded from on high? Kadudar, whose name means possessor of the gourd, held up a dried gourd and said, Can you forbid this pumpkin to be a pumpkin? Nobody can forbid the fulfilling of a celestial command, so that even if a man appeared to do so, in reality it would be impossible. The duty of the guide, however, is to ensure that pilgrimages are not performed by people in an unsuitable inner state, just as the guardians of the sanctuary will prevent anyone from carrying out the pilgrimage rites in an unsuitable outward state. All pilgrimage has an outward and inward aspect. The ordinary man will help the pilgrim when he needs money or food, and will raise him up if he has collapsed on the road. The man of the path, minutely discerning similar necessities in the inner life, is compelled to give his aid in his own way.
Welcome back. So this story is centered around a question that was posed by a man to Kadudar, and the question is, why do you forbid your followers to make the pilgrimage? How can man forbid what has been commanded from on high? So that was the question. So he's saying that that you cannot, normally you are not allowed to forbid somebody who's supposed to do something as commanded by Allah. So why are you forbidding them? So when Kadudar replied to this, he was basically trying to remind the man that no matter what is said by him, actually, all right, is of no real consequence, because the really important issue here is that this has been decided by Allah. And if Allah has decided that a person has gone, he would have gone. Now there are two aspects to this. One is that if let's say Kadudar tells us, right, not to go for the pilgrimage and we don't go, then that means that whatever that Allah has determined has already been answered by us, and that is we didn't go. But on the other hand, also, even if we go, and this is the second aspect, and this is the more interesting aspect in my view, even if we go, but if Allah has already determined that actually that we have not been, or we will not perform the pilgrimage, that means then we may have been present in terms of our physical self doing all the rites of the pilgrimage, but our heart may not be there. So because of that, it is concerned with the intention, how sincere that pilgrim is with regards to going for the pilgrimage. If he goes and he performs all the externals, but his intention is far from sincere, that is, he is doing it for the sake of Allah alone, or to put it another way, as quoted by, as mentioned by the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he mentioned that ihsan is to worship Allah as though you see him, but if you don't see him, be certain that he sees you. That means you are always aware of that Allah is watching us. But if we go and do all the things that we have to do during the pilgrimage, but we are not aware that Allah is watching us, then the ihsan aspect, which is the highest level of sincerity in terms of our service to Allah, isn't there. So technically speaking, we will not have performed our pilgrimage. So in this story, the example given is actually the example of the performance of the pilgrimage. But I think this is true for anything that we do as a Muslim. Whatever good deeds, whatever acts of ritual worship that we're supposed to do, if the sincerity isn't there, then in reality, we have not done what we are supposed to do. So this is a reminder, a very short story, but this is a very important reminder to all of us, including myself, that when we are doing anything for the sake of Allah, we may claim to say so, but the important thing is what is in our heart. Our heart is it sincere? Are we seriously doing it only for His sake and nothing else? So that is something for all of us to reflect upon. So with that, I end my short reflection on this story, Kadudar and the pilgrimage. And I hope it has been found to be useful for you and maybe perhaps so enlightening. If you like this, as in you, if you like with the rest of the series of stories in this book reading, please do subscribe and just click on the button below, subscribe, and then you'll be inshallah be informed of any further uploads of videos on this book reading, especially with regards to the book Thinkers of the East. So with that, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon you all.